Hey guys, welcome to Wrench to Drive. This is a review of this cheap Chinese crawler transmission, and I'm going to follow up with my initial review, but I found a problem as I was getting ready to put this into a crawler. And in my initial review, I mentioned that the friction disc, you can see it right there where I'm pointing, was missing. And I just thought somebody made a mistake. Not the end of the world. I had a spare kicking around because I got some gears for one of these transmissions really cheap. As you can see though, you can see that pad, guys. You can see it. It's, about a millimeter, maybe a little bit less. And what I did not anticipate was that there was actually a reason that pad was left out, and the reason is that this cover is a little bit wrong. Right here, that scrapage there, where it's bare metal, not red anymore, that is from hitting these screws here. And there are three factors at play, guys. There's the disc, which added, roughly a millimeter. The screws actually stick out above the surface of the gear, so there's potentially a way to get those screws down a little further just by drilling a little bit, countersinking just a hair and getting those screws to go in, or maybe even some different screws, although these are pretty flat. And then the third thing is we can grind away some of this metal. And I'm going to try that first, guys. So I'm going to try grinding this down a little bit. And I did some measurements, and there is a lot of meat here, guys. This section is really thick. So there is for sure a millimeter I can grind off in there easily. It's not a problem, guys. Alright guys, so I think I got this fixed. When I initially put this together, you could not turn this by hand because it was binding, guys. When it was cinched down nice and tight, it was touching. And now it goes all the way around, no problem. So I'll show you what I did. All it took was a moto tool, guys, so but not a huge big deal. Something most people have kicking around. I actually used a cutting disc. And the only downside was I usually keep my old cutting disc, so I usually have a bunch of little ones kicking around, but I actually only had a full-size one. Full-size one was hard to get in there. So I did just a tiny little bit of damage, but it's not visible from the outside, so in my opinion, not a huge big deal, guys. So I used a cutting disc, guys, on my full-size Dremel. And the problem, if I would have had a smaller disc, it would have been a little bit easier to get in there. Although this was actually caused by the what do you call it? The top part that you tighten up to hold the bit. It's up higher. It was actually touching on here. Hard to get the right angle in there, guys. Like you're like this, and the spinny bit up top is touching there. So tiny little bit of damage. Not a huge big deal, guys. You can't see it when it's installed. Installed, she's pristine, guys. So. And all I did was I just went around this very carefully and grinded away a little bit of material, guys. This was a square edge. Well, not square, like this 60-degree angle on this face here, guys. But it was a pointy, jaggedy edge. So I just took a little meat off of there, guys, and now it works fine. So that's all you have to do. So if that doesn't scare you and you don't mind that it looks a little dodgy when you're done, you can easily fix this and have it fully functional, guys. Like I mentioned later on, this was a whopping 25 Canadian pesos plus shipping, so let's call it 30. That is a good deal, guys. The best deal previously was 40, and I don't know if you're going to get one that's any better than this. That's the problem. Typically these go for about 50 Canadian dollars, so 30 bucks, that's a good deal. I ordered a couple extra things to reduce the impact of the shipping, so can't complain, guys. The price was right. It really doesn't offend me. So you be the judge. If you have the capability to fix one of these, if it shows up a little dodgy, I'd say it's worth the risk, guys. If you want to see the full review of this, guys, before I knew that there was another problem in addition to that clutch disc not being there, keep playing till the end. Hey guys, one more small problem, and this really is a small problem. The screws are just a hair too long. I am using them with a cheap Chinese metal transmission mount that I bought for about $6 many moons ago. I'm gonna say these are slightly longer than the ones that come with the plastic transmission I have, because I can use the ones that came with the plastic transmission with that transmission mount. So I'm not 100% sure if that's true, but it sure seems like it is. Now, unfortunately, these are countersunk screws, and I actually have a shortage of those right now, so I'm just going to use regular machine screws. I've tested these out, they do fit, and I'm going to call it a win, because I don't really care that much, guys. They don't really stick out a whole lot. I don't think it's going to be a problem. Just beware, guys. One more small problem. You can easily grind these down. They're like a millimeter too long. Like the transmission just doesn't quite sit flush, guys. And it could be that the holes are just a hair not deep enough, guys. I'm not 100% sure. It's either the motor mount or the transmission. There's a bit of a disconnect there, just so you know. So something else to be aware of, guys. Hey guys, welcome to Wrench to Drive. Today I'm giving you a quick overview of this dirt cheap all-metal Chinese crawler transmission that I ordered off AliExpress. When I say dirt cheap, guys, it was 24 Canadian dollars plus shipping. I had it on a deal day a while back, right around Christmas time there, and I decided to order one because all metal looks really nice. How bad can it be, right? And sure enough, not bad. I just cracked it open here, guys, so I could give you a look and see what you're getting. There's only one problem, which we'll get to as I'm putting this back together, and pretty minor, but typical of stuff from China, guys. Unfortunately, there always seems to be some goofy little thing, and this was no exception. The only thing about this that I'm not 100% sure about, guys, is we'll see how it works in the long run. But these gears are 48 pitch, which are these teeth are kind of small, guys, and the mesh has to be just bang on with these guys. And this seems pretty good, and it feels all right when you turn the input. We'll see. The one with the plastic gears, they're actually bigger pitch gears, guys, and I wish the metal ones were too. Basically, I think it would be indestructible if they were bigger teeth, but we'll see. These are everywhere. There's so many budget crawlers with this transmission. They are absolutely everywhere. I've got a spare set kicking around here that are exactly the same. So, you get what you get. Quality is really nice, guys. A lot of this stuff, the quality, the finish of the metal and everything is really good. And this is no exception. It's a really nice looking unit. The screw holes are all nice on the bottom. Everything looks good. So nothing, to get upset about fit and finish wise. It looks really good. I'm really curious to see how durable this is. That's the main reason I ordered it, guys, is that, for the money, the look is really good. And I'm kind of leaning towards running it in my 3D printed Jeep crawler, because I'm not going to abuse that much, guys, because I don't want to wreck that body. I know it won't hold up to rolls and tumbles and everything else. So, this will be in there, not a real high stress situation. Should last a long time. If it doesn't, that's a pretty big warning sign, guys. But overall, in my opinion, this seems pretty good, guys. My only concern is really the spur and pinion. I'd like those to be 32 pitch personally, but we'll see. If they hold up, I'll keep my mouth shut. And the gears are available, super common. These 48 pitch guys. The plastic 32 pitch are actually kind of hard to come by, which is a little bit surprising. Anyways, they're nicely greased up. There shouldn't be any problem with lack of grease in there, guys. So I'm just going to put her back together for now. A lot of times I'll put in a bunch of grease because I do like things greased within an inch of their lives. And this time I'm just going to leave well enough alone. You can see she turns really nicely, guys. Spins really freely. Everything fits well. So nothing to get concerned about there. And the one thing I'll get to it in a second here. You do have to be careful of one thing when you're putting this back together, which I'll show you. Once you get the one anchor screw in, guys, smooth sailing after that. And the assembly is really easy. You just line up the motor plate, and it goes like so. Goes like that. So you line up the motor plate, and the only thing you have to watch out for, guys, is there's a pin that goes right in there, and if you don't put that on first, you will not be able to get it in there afterwards, guys. And I learned that the easy way by trying to take it out with the plate already on, with the plate still on there, and I was not able to. So I discovered that you have to make sure to do things in the right order. Not a huge big deal, just something to pay attention to. And try not to lose it while you're putting this together. Alright guys, I'm going to put a little Loctite on these screws. They did seem pretty solid. No reason to think that they would have come loose. But in my opinion, when in doubt, put a little Loctite so that your stuff stays together. Oops. Helps if you put it in from the right side, hey? You don't need much, guys. Just enough that it won't rattle loose. Then you don't have to over tighten your screws. I'm going to try putting a drip in there from the other side. See how well that works. Yeah, that worked pretty well, guys. I worked a bunch into the threads, just backing that in and out a couple times. Should work real nice. Alright. Pin's still there. As you can see, it will not come out once you've put this together. Alright, and then your flanged plate goes on here, and I think that went in all the way. Yep. Alright, what was missing on mine, guys, was the friction disc. Fortunately I had one kicking around because I got a set of gears, the metal gears that come with this transmission many moons ago for super cheap on Amazon. And so then you put your gear on, spray your tensioner spring for the I guess it's like a throw-up bearing, and then you get that screw start or that nut started. And this thing was torqued down really tight. I'm not exactly sure where it's supposed to go. That's it, all nice and put together. Now I'm going to put a motor in because I want to try test fitting this. It looks like it comes with motor screws and everything, so I'm going to crack this open. Alright guys, so what we got here, we got two grub screws, one there, one there. Always nice that when they give you two, guys, because it's really easy to lose these bad boys. Then we got two motor mount screws, guys. These are just M3 machine screws. And then we got two shorties and two longies for installing the transmission in your crawler, guys. These are the standard crawler install screws, guys. So it comes with everything you need and probably some spare screws if you already have a transmission in your crawler and this is a replacement unit. So that's always nice. Alright, so we've got the motor loosely mounted, a little snugly. It'll do. We're going to put the gear on her. Alright, we're going to mount that pinion. And we're going to get this okay guys, I've got this motor snug, very snug. You can see that's tight, guys. And all I did was, it's not mounted very securely, guys. So all I'm going to do is spin this till it loosens up a little bit. Maybe give it a nudge if I have to. As you can see, there's a little bit of play there, guys. That's what I was worried about with these 48 pitch gears. You don't want it too loose because if you have play there, bad things can happen. Alright guys, so we got this fitted up, and my suggestion is test the play in the gear, and you can see the spur gear is moving away. I'm able to move the spur gear away from the pinion just a little bit, right? So this feels pretty tight guys, but there is a little play there, and I think that should be alright. You definitely don't want this too loose. If it's too loose, you're really pushing your luck with a crawler, guys, because when those wheels get loaded up and you put a bunch of torque in there, you want these gears to be meshing. So we'll try this out and see, guys. Overall, the quality is not bad, and you know it seems like it should work all right. We'll see. All right, so there's the motor installed. And we'll put the cover back on. Alright, as you can see, very shiny. The other stuff I ordered, guys, I ordered some link ends because they had these TRX4 style link ends, and I have a whole bunch of TRX4 rods. So I thought having some spares of these would be a good idea. And these are, you know, they're real solid. There's not much play in there. They're advertised as legit TRX4 link ends, and I have to say, they seem pretty good, guys. I'm not 100% sure, but for my money, it's a distinct possibility, and the quality is good. I've got a bunch of cheap links, and these are really solid compared to the cheap ones. I'm trying to remember how much I paid for these. I want to say like $6 for 10, which is a good deal, guys. $1 each is pretty common, so whatever, we'll see. And they are plastic, guys, but that's not a super big concern. Alright guys, so the last thing I got is these LED lights that are stupidly bright. These, the video here I think might not be doing them justice. They're crazy bright, guys. And they have this this controller card, which lets you switch them between blinking modes just by toggling your the switch on your radio. And I will show you if I can find the switch. So they've got some different modes, guys. I'll be honest, I don't really care about them. I think I just want them for on and off, but they're not bad, guys. This is the cases are actually metal, kind of nice. They've got 4 LEDs per unit, as you can see, and nice long cord. Oops. Nice long cord, stretches out for miles. Should be able to run to the front or the back pretty much of any crawler. Yeah, can't go wrong. Like I said, I forget, they were cheap, guys. They were not much money, less than $10. So yeah, we'll see. Figured I'd try them out. That's it, guys. Thanks for tuning in to Wrench to Drive, where we ask the eternal question: do you drive to wrench, or do you wrench to drive? See you next time. I just want to talk about Chinese stuff for a minute, guys, because believe it or not, I'm not down on China per se. It's just that you have to know what you're in for, guys. And I see people, you know, super upset, you know, never gonna buy again, blah, blah, blah. I see that stuff all the time, guys. And I kind of shake my head because the big reason to buy Chinese stuff is it is dirt cheap, guys. If you want an axial transmission, it's gonna cost you a fortune. I mean, it is just silly. You're better off buying a whole truck and just using the parts you need, because you know, stuff like a transmission and axles are just insanely expensive if you buy them from Axial. That's why I buy cheap Chinese stuff, guys. It is just dirt cheap compared to what you can get, you know, in North America. And the big problem with the hobby shops is that they can get this stuff in, but they have to add such a markup because they can't sell you a dud like this and get away with it. You're going to come back all upset. They got to give you your money back, and then they have a hard time getting their money back. So, you know, it's a catch-22, guys. And the problem in China is that there'll be a run of these things that are absolutely perfect, guys. Like, you get something and you're nothing but happy because it's awesome. The problem is, that the Chinese will slip in a run of bad parts and try to, pull one over on people. And it hurts the reputation, it hurts the brand. It is what it is. It's super annoying, guys. And it's bad for everybody because it makes it harder for Chinese manufacturers to sell their stuff afar. Because once people get wise to it, they don't want to take the chance anymore. But it's part of their culture, guys. Like anybody that's dealt with China will tell you the same thing. They will try to pull one over on you when they can to make a little extra money. And it's not just small stuff like this. Like this is nickel and dime stuff, guys. They do it on large scale projects. I mean, it is just a way of life over there. That's what you have to be careful of. Now, the upside is that right now, the Chinese are becoming very savvy to the fact that a brand is valuable. And something like RGT, Banggood brand, they sell a lot of crawlers, guys. Those RGT crawlers look fantastic. I don't personally own one, but I've watched lots of videos of them because they are really cool. And the reason I don't own one is because they are stupidly expensive in Canada. Like an RGT crawler is on par price-wise with a TRX4. And I'm going to have a hard time believing that it's better than a TRX4. So, in Canada, it just doesn't make sense. People in Australia and Great Britain and stuff, there's a huge price difference. A TRX4 is way more money. It totally makes sense to get an RGT crawler. Now, back to the brand thing. RGT has become a brand that is, pretty well respected from what I've seen on YouTube and the internet, guys. Those crawlers seem really solid. So when you buy from an established brand like WL Toys or RGT or even WPL, which, their stuff's a little more, do-it-yourself oriented. But, when there's a brand, there actually is something to fall back on. With WPL, there's just tons of parts out there. With RGT, they do seem to be making, genuinely really nice RC cars, guys. So when in doubt, going with a brand is always a good idea. Now, when it comes to this cheap stuff, Injora has a store on eBay. They have, I think, 2 stores on AliExpress. I haven't quite been able to figure out the difference, but there are, kind of 2 official Injora stores. My experience is that if you buy from Injora, chances are you're getting something that's been quality tested, and they're not unloading their own mistakes on their own site, guys. So if you buy from Injora, it's probably going to be good. And this transmission, for example, was still, I believe, over $40 from Injora when I bought this one, for $25. So, if you go with a brand, much safer, guys. If you don't want to get stuck with a dud, I would say go with an established brand, buy from a legit store. This seller, I did contact them just to let them know. I said, hey, I can fix it. I'm not that worried about it. I just wanted to let you know. And they said that they were going to check their stock and make sure that there wasn't more of this stuff. And after I realized it wasn't just the missing disc, I followed up again, and I haven't checked yet, but we'll see what they had to say. It's a store that does a lot of volume, guys, so I suspect they don't have any interest in pissing people off. But, that's what you got to watch out for, guys. When in doubt, Chinese brands are still brands, guys. They don't want to destroy their brand name. They have much more interest in supporting you than a no-name seller. No-name sellers are where you go for a deal. And I have bought tons and tons of stuff out of China at the absolute lowest price available. And for the most part, no problems, guys. I mean, I have to say, my nickel's worth is when you buy at the lowest price, you end up saving enough money that, you're way ahead. But there's some risk, and I do have the capability of fixing things. So, you have to weigh that in, guys. And I mean, if you are not super handy, buying from your local hobby shop, you have a little more recourse. Like, they still can't support everything quite the way you'd like. A lot of times you do have to go back to the manufacturer for satisfaction, but it is what it is. The margins are so small these days, guys, and the margin, that just means they're not making very much money, guys. So it's very hard for them to take something back if they're going to lose money on it. Everybody kind of loses when there's a dud out there, and unfortunately in the hobby game, there are quality issues, guys, because everything's made in China these days. Maybe there always were, guys. I don't know. I mean, I don't remember ever getting a car back in the day that had, you know, fundamental core problems out of the box. I remember them always working, but, you know, that being said, they were not the same level of performance as stuff is these days. So anyways, on to the review of this transmission and a couple extra parts. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope that provides some useful information, guys. Like, my nickel's worth, this is still a pretty decent set of hardware for a whopping, you know, 25 bucks plus shipping. You know, 30 bucks absolute max all in Canada. Going to be cheaper elsewhere, guys. So, you know, it's still pretty nice. And if you got some DIY know-how, you can for sure get it working, guys. But as with everything out of China, not 100% out of the box. Thanks for tuning in, and enjoy the rest of the video. Hopefully this is useful information, guys.